Hi, my name is Alex Carlucci with Gustan Associates. I'm going to talk to you about the whole process, what to expect from beginning to end when buying a house. So the first thing you want to do is reach out to a mortgage broker and a realtor. Either one first is okay. The realtor is going to say, please talk to your mortgage guy, find out what you qualify for. So you're going to call a mortgage guy like me, and we're going to qualify you. I'm going to ask you questions like, how's your credit, what's your monthly debts, what's your income, and what are your assets. Once I determine that you are pre-approved, then I write you a pre-approval letter. I'm going to ask you for some documents to support that if I feel like that we really need to look further into your file. But if I trust you, I'll do a soft pre-approval for you, and then tell you what you're pre-approved for, and then you and your realtor will go out and look for houses. So if you don't have a realtor, you're going to have to find one, or have your mortgage guy refer you one. So the realtor is going to take you to a bunch of houses, and you're gonna call me and say, what's the payment on this? I'm gonna say this. You're like, okay, I'm happy with that. And the realtor's gonna make sure I qualify. And we're gonna ask you maybe possibly to get a closing cost credit from the realtor, from the seller's side, to get you a credit towards a closing cost, and that helps you with the cash to close. So now once you go back and forth with the purchase contract with the sellers and you're gonna like start low. Let's say the purchase price is $200,000. You may say 180 with $5,000 credit, and the sellers are going to come back and say 195 with $5,000 credit, and you're going to say, okay, 185 with 5,000 credit, and then you're going to go 190 with 5,000 credit, and then bam, you're going to have a deal. Once you have that deal, we're going to purchase contract, and me and you are going to start the process. I'm the mortgage broker. Me and you are going to start the process of the loan, and I'm going to ask for 2 years tax returns, 2 years W-2s, a month worth of pay stubs, 2 months bank statements on all accounts we're using, a quarterly bank statement for your 401k, copy of your ID, and an insurance agent's name and phone number to get started. If you're a veteran, I'll need a DD-214. If you get Social Security income, I'll need a Social Security awards letter, or disability, I'll need a disability letter. If you receive pension income, I'll need a pension letter. So we're going to ask you for all those documents. Once you send me all those documents, I'm going to disclose your loan to you, and what that means is that I do the whole application and send it to you through an electronic signing portal. So you're going to be clicking a bunch of buttons to sign your application, and we're going to send you a list of documents that have to be physically signed, and we send those to you. You print them, you sign them, and you scan them back to us. Once we have that, we are authorized to submit your loan to underwriting, and we also can order your appraisal, because one of the documents you fill out a credit card authorization form, and you have to pay for that out of your pocket. And now you're going to order an inspection, most likely, and your inspector's going to go out to the house and make sure nothing's wrong with it. And we probably hold off on the appraisal until the inspection comes back. Let's say the inspection comes back okay. Then the appraisal gets ordered and you go into an underwriter. Underwriter's going to go through all those documents that I just asked you for, and they're going to review everything. And if they don't like something, or something's not, like the pay stub might be cut off, or they might want to ask more questions about your assets. What are these large deposits? So underwriters are going to go through and ask for more stuff, and it's called conditions. When a mortgage broker says you have conditions on your loan, people say, conditions? What do you mean conditions? Well, it's not just one submission and you're done. It's a round. We have to go back and forth with the underwriter until the underwriter is completely satisfied. So the first round of conditions come. We give them the conditions. Sometimes it's a letter explanation. Sometimes, again, it's a cut-off pay stub. Who knows what it's going to be? Every loan is like a fingerprint. Not one loan is exactly the same. So I can never tell you exactly what's going to happen. So once we satisfy the conditions, hopefully we get the appraisal back. You've called your insurance agent and got insurance, and hopefully the seller's got the title, a clear title from the sellers. So we have your conditions, we have the appraisal, we have your insurance, and we have the title. We take all those things and we send them in the underwriter. The underwriter may condition the appraisal, she may condition the title, she may condition your insurance, or she may recondition your conditions that we gave to you. So there's a lot of back and forth. What can go wrong is the title could have a lien on it from the sellers. They want to see that it's released, make sure that the sellers know that there's a lien that they have to cover to get this to the table. The appraisal might have something wrong with the house that may need to be repaired. The underwriter may not like the comps the appraiser used, saying that this house, why didn't you use this comp next door that's just like this house for $20,000 less? So there's a lot of things that can go wrong there. Also with your insurance, sometimes you don't get enough coverage, or it's not covering the loan amount, and sometimes that has to go back and forth. So let's say we get that all fixed, we send it in, there can still be another condition even. So that's the tediousness of the loan process, is these underwriters go back and forth with you. appraisers, title, processors, loan officers. We're just all trying to get this done and make sure everything's perfect, because the underwriter's name goes on this loan, and she doesn't want to have anything called, what's called a buyback. So if she makes a mistake, she's in trouble. So everything's really, really complicated, just getting this perfectly right. So let's say we get it exactly right for the underwriter, she will say clear to close, and like, that's the happiest day for us, for me and you. So once you're clear to close, then all we have to do is worry about scheduling. That's when the attorneys start doing their stuff, if you have attorneys. If not, the realtors, they'll call each other and they'll say, okay, we're gonna close, you know, in 3 days, because you have to wait 3 days from the clear to close date and sign what's called an early CD, and then we schedule for 3 days later. Now we pick up the title company location, we find out a time you're available, we find out a time the seller's available, and then you guys all meet. And the day you guys go meet, you probably do what's called a final walkthrough. The final walkthrough is your last chance to see your house, hopefully empty, because now sellers have moved out. You can see if there's any problems with the house. That's when you can see when the holes are, you know, there's holes covered up by a big hutch. And now you're like, wait a second, no, we gotta fix this, I want some credit for this. So that's your last chance to get anything back for anything might be wrong with the house. So once you go through the walkthrough and we have the closing ready to go, I tell you how much to bring, and hopefully it's a cashier's check made up to the title company. If it's a large down payment, they're probably gonna want you to wire it. So then you go to the closing with your funds, either wired or cashier's check, and you sit there and you sign 80, 90 documents with your realtor or / attorney. Sometimes the sellers are there, sometimes the seller's attorney's there, sometimes just the realtors on both sides are there. And there's gonna be a title lady there, and she's gonna be handing you stuff, and she's gonna be sending it to the investor, us. And then the closing department at our bank is gonna make sure all the docs are signed and dotted, and, you know, everything's gotta be perfect. And you're gonna be sitting there for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and hopefully there's no problems. Sometimes things pop up, a judgment against you may pop up. Let's hopefully that doesn't happen. Sometimes there's another lien that pops up the seller has to cover. So you never know, some things can go wrong, not usually, but something can go wrong. But let's say it doesn't go wrong, you sign your paperwork, everybody gets up and shakes your hand, and you go back to your house and you own a home. And that is the process of buying a home. If you got any questions, leave them below. Please like this video and share it. Thank you very much.